Let's get going. Okay, everyone. So look, thank you so much for making the time out of your day to come and listen to this webinar with us. Super excited to be able to present this to you. So again, thank you so much, and thank you to your business as well. We've got the privilege of having Vincent Hardy from Red Hat with us today. So as we're going through the Ingram Micro Red Hat series of engagements, now what we're looking to do, guys, is to really look at helping you to accelerate your Red Hat business, your AWS business. We're here as a collective organization between AWS, Ingram, and Red Hat to be able to help you, support you, hold your hands to be able to grow your business and help you find new opportunities. So one of the things which I will encourage everyone to do is please, at the top of your screen, you should see a Q&A button. Can you click on that now for me, just so you've got it up? And then can you, throughout the course, please feel free to type in any questions. At the end of the presentation, what we're going to look at doing, there's a few of us will look at having a bit of a fireside chat. We'll go through the questions. I don't believe anyone can come off mute to be able to ask questions, but please, can you put your questions in there? This session is being recorded, so we will be able to share it later. We have been sent quite a few questions by individuals prior to this, which has been fantastic. So definitely there's lots of interest out there. But again, please put your questions into the Q&A and we'll look at addressing them during our fireside chats at the end of this presentation. So just to give you a bit of background, what we're going to do is we're going to start with Vincent and all of his intelligence around Red Hat, how that works with AWS. And then what we're going to then look at doing is how Ingram can support you from an AWS perspective, which I can then jump through. So what I'll do is I will pass over to Vincent, and Vincent can run through his set of slides. Thank you, Vincent.
Thank you, Phil. Hi, everyone. Vincent Hardy. I am the partner manager for AWS at Red Hat Australia and New Zealand, and I have the privilege of supporting that relationship, but I also do a lot of work with our shared partners, Red Hat partners and Amazon partners, looking to grow a three-way engagement between the parties. So that's why I'm here today having this conversation with Phil and the team. But just by way of introduction, Red Hat and AWS have a really long-standing partnership. We've been partners since 2008, which is pretty much 2 or 3 years since the organization as a whole started it all from an Amazon point of view. So we've been there pretty much since ground zero. But more recently, we've really accelerated our partnership around some pretty strategic different elements around our app modernization platform called OpenShift, as well as a range of really significant go-to-markets around SAP, ERP modernization, SQL Server, so Microsoft workloads, and then more recently, a joint go-to-market for our OpenShift service as a first-party native product with Amazon called Rosa, Red Hat OpenShift service on AWS. And more recently as well, we've launched in a big way a big marketplace presence, which we both ourselves can support you with. So we'll be exploring that a little bit further into the call. But over 60,000 of our customers globally have partnered between AWS and Red Hat to migrate and modernize their workloads in AWS. So there's a great opportunity to bring consistency and modernization to your customers through the Red Hat and AWS partnership. If you could just go to the next slide, Phil. Here's just a brief rundown of some of the products and services that we have available. So the way I like to kind of break up our portfolio is into 3 kind of core pillars from an AWS ecosystem point of view. We have migration. So many of your customers will be running Red Hat and Red Hat adjacent technologies on premises, and in other environments. There's a great opportunity to migrate those to AWS because we offer a consistent platform with hourly, flexible consumption-based billing, and also, stability, security, and all the stuff that you'd expect from a Red Hat portfolio in both AWS and on-prem. So the migration experience for customers is really simple. They, many of the AWS tools for migration and third-party tools to support migrations are well integrated with the Red Hat stack for both RHEL and OpenShift, but you also have a range of different native offers in AWS that you can consume. So, going down the bottom, our platforms, we have RHEL, our traditional Linux-based operating system, JBoss, which is our Java application management and development platform, and OpenShift. And for OpenShift, we've actually built a first-party service with Amazon, so you get the benefit of Amazon support and Amazon special commercial terms when you're purchasing OpenShift and consuming the OpenShift application platform for customers in AWS. That's a great experience as a managed service for customers looking to adopt app modernization. And then on top of that, we have a range of application and data services which plug into OpenShift and the core services underneath and offer some pretty differentiated capability around security, API management, database management, streaming data, and then also data science, which is a very big and hot topic with Amazon at the recent reInvent conference that's going on in Las Vegas right now. So there's definitely interest from AWS and from our customers around how we can build data science in a hybrid cloud environment. So that's a great opportunity. And last but not least, we also have our Ansible automation platform. So in terms of opportunities for customers for migrating and also for managing their workloads in public cloud and more broadly, the Ansible automation platform is a great opportunity to help customers drive standardization and repeatability in their work as they move workloads to public cloud, but also as they start to have to do the life cycle and the management afterwards. And many of the other vendors in the Ingram portfolio are well integrated with Ansible. So if you're looking at selling Cisco, if you're selling Palo Alto Networks, or many other of the vendors that you're probably working with in your broader estate, there's a great integration story around how you can make those work together with AWS and Red Hat inside of the Ansible context. Next slide, thank you, Phil. So I kind of spoke to this, but we've kind of got those three plays that Red Hat can really help support you on the journey with AWS. Number one, you can migrate. So customers are looking for opportunities to standardize. They're looking for opportunities to save costs. They're looking for opportunities really to speed up the migration process. Red Hat offers that consistent platform. And you've got, whether they're container workloads, whether they're really strategic workloads like SAP, you might have a Windows Server estate that's running .NET or SQL, or you may have a variety of different Linux distribution, free and paid Linux distributions inside of your on-premise data center in a VMware environment or on bare metal. The opportunity to migrate those to AWS is greatly simplified through the use of the Red Hat platform. And one of the benefits of working with AWS and Ingram in this space is we can offer you special commercial terms and all manners of promotions through AWS to kind of accelerate both the customer's adoption of the platform, getting to that outcome around cloud migration, but also, offering you an opportunity to enrich your margins and your scale in working through those processes. When customers get to AWS, one of the other big elements which we really support is around modernization. So, part of our core go-to-market going forward is around application modernization and application platforms. So managing applications, performance, stability, cost, and security in a scalable way. So that's really where we come through with OpenShift and Rosa, and both Ingram and Red Hat have a wide variety of resources available free of charge for yourselves as partners to support that modernization journey for customers. So whether it's a ISV workload like IBM software or Splunk or many other vendors that actually run well in containers, or the customers trying to build their own software in a containerized or modernized way, we can support you with a range of pre-sales and sales resources to help drive that and delivery resources to help drive that modernization process to get customers to a more modern architecture. And finally, as I mentioned, there's a great play around automation and driving, across a range of different use cases, in the cloud, in terms of scaling storage, scaling compute, managing outages or patching cycles, as well as use cases like IoT management, networking use cases, security use cases, IT service management, and edge. So all of those use cases are really easily automated through Ansible. And with the Ansible automation platform in AWS, we now have a consumption-based mechanism for customers to purchase that through Red Hat and Ingram. So definitely worth exploring that as well if you haven't considered that before. Next slide, thanks, Phil. And finally, to touch on some of those broader points, as many of you would probably be aware, AWS has a great strategic interest in driving specialty workloads. So Windows workloads and SAP are great examples. We can support you on that journey from a Red Hat point of view as well. We're one of only 2 Linux distributions that support SAP. So really, we're in an elite club in terms of actually giving you the tools you need to manage and deliver SAP workloads, both the traditional ECC architecture as well as HANA and S/4HANA modernization projects. And then we also have a great opportunity around SQL Server and cost reduction for customers in the space of Windows workloads, because Amazon has a number of programs which Ingram can help support you to access, which effectively allow you to modernize customers and drive better cost outcomes from a SQL Server estate. And then finally, ROSA, Red Hat OpenShift Service on AWS, really helps accelerate that adoption of the kind of modern application architecture, as I mentioned. Next slide, thank you, Phil. So this is just a little bit more detail on what the Ansible platform on AWS looks like. Effectively, as long as you can run Ansible anywhere, when you run it in AWS, it gives it adjacency to all of those cloud workloads, allows for drawdown of committed spend if customers have already signed committed spend contracts with Amazon, and then it also allows you to extend that automation platform right through to your on-prem environment, edge locations, and private clouds, so you can manage fleets of routers, of firewalls, of all manner of different endpoints inside or outside an IT environment that can really help drive that scalability and do more with less, which is a real priority for customers these days, and I'm sure for yourselves as providers as well. Next slide, thank you. And then finally, to kind of harken back to the OpenShift conversation, right? Really, where we find customers, the message we've been hearing from customers more recently has been, they've got an appetite for modernization, but they don't know where to start, or they're having to do it in pockets and they're struggling to standardize. And so really, OpenShift as a platform is designed to allow customers to take not just Kubernetes, but which is a container management architecture, but ultimately go right through to a modern platform. Because if you look at some of the AWS architectures, it is a bit more self-serve. Customers and partners do have to do a little bit more of the heavy lifting. We try to take that away, because we give you all these different elements which you need in order to effectively build and manage modern applications in one place, with the joint support of Red Hat and AWS. Next slide, thank you. And so this is a bit of a busy slide, but it kind of talks to the layers of features of the feature set inside of OpenShift. So I'm sure many of you may be familiar with this, but it effectively allows for those, that platform management, application lifecycle, developer experience, and data management all integrated into one platform, which You still have the benefit of being able to access the scale of Amazon and AWS core services and integrate, all of the different feature sets that you probably experience in AWS. But it also gives you that core that's actually a managed service that you don't have to spend cycles for yourself or your customers spending cycles trying to do things, common operational tasks like patching and lifecycle management. Next slide, thanks, Phil. So this is, I've come around to the end of my piece, but I think, the way I would frame value for partners, if you're an Amazon partner looking to partner with Red Hat more closely, or you're a Red Hat partner looking to partner more closely with Amazon, you have a great opportunity. I mean, Ingram's going to talk a little bit around the programs around how you can provide AWS to your customers. When you do that, many of the Red Hat products sit quite closely and natively within AWS, so you do get the benefit of margins around RHEL in AWS when you resell through Ingram. And there's also a great opportunity around some of the marketplace partner programs to resell the broader range of products that I mentioned. If you're an AWS reseller through Ingram, you'll find most of the Red Hat products drive a significant uplift in traditional AWS consumption when you buy them together. So based on some conversations we've had with our partners, there's anywhere from a 2 to 5 times uplift in traditional AWS infrastructure services like compute, storage, and networking when they purchase with Red Hat. So you're getting the benefit and scale and revenue from not only the Red Hat subscription or the Red Hat service, but also the underlying AWS infrastructure. We've already, from Red Hat customer base, we have thousands of customers in Australia that are already consuming our products on premises and in AWS. It's a great opportunity to help. That they need, some of them need help to do these migrations and drive this transformation. So there's definite opportunity in our customer base and more broadly, as I hope I've indicated. And when you're building out an AWS practice and driving towards the competencies and programs that support access to funding and recognition from AWS, our Red Hat services and Red Hat products actually provide a great foundation for programs like the migration program, the modernization programs, the DevOps program, Windows programs, SAP. All of these individual specialist streams can be quite hard to qualify on their own because you have to provide evidence of certification as well as customer case studies. So by adopting Red Hat technology and using Red Hat in those cases, you'll find that you'll be able to move more quickly and drive a better outcome for your customers while providing a repeatable framework to get those certifications and drive that value from AWS. And then finally, there's a great opportunity to work with the AWS field sales team and Red Hat to scale your reach into customers because, we have the extended Red Hat team, we have the extended Ingram team, the Amazon team, and we can all work together on opportunities to drive better outcomes for your customers. So there's plenty of opportunity to drive through for the outcomes you're trying to drive and for the projects you're trying to drive. But with that, I'll pass back to Phil. I don't think I've got any more slides unless I'm
No, that's it. So awesome. Thank you so much, Vincent, for helping that. And again, guys, look, please, based on some of the content based on the content that we've just seen now, please put some questions in. Please have come back to us. We're here to support you. We've got the experts on the panel later. So we're really keen to make sure that you come away from this with some more knowledge than when you started the webinar. So Ingram AWS partnership. So you may be thinking Ingram AWS, you maybe didn't realize that Ingram has AWS in our line card. However, we've actually been a partner of a reseller of AWS now since 2013. We're one of the strongest distribution partners AWS has. We've literally just been awarded the Global Disty of the Year at the AWS reInvent. I think that was like 2 days ago. So the investment that we've put into AWS is huge. Locally, we have one of the largest AWS teams to support our partners. We have a dedicated public sector team. We have a dedicated ISV team. We have a dedicated growth team. Now, as Vincent alluded to earlier, the great thing about this is the fact that all of our teams come together, they work together to support you. Now, one of the great things for our partners is the fact that AWS allows our partners to leverage our competencies. Now, we'll touch on the migration competency later on, but the fact that Ingram has the migration competency, we've got the DevOps competency, this is something that our partners can leverage and take benefit of, gain access to fundings. So when we bring on a partner, so you may be thinking, well, look, I don't actually do AWS today. It's a bit strange to me. I'm not sure. That's okay. So when we actually have a full onboarding program, we have multiple programs within this that basically we enable our partners to fully understand AWS, see the value of AWS. We actually go into our partners, understand what success looks like from a cloud perspective. We look at all the different vendors that they sell today, and we then support them. One of the things, again, that we'll sort of touch on a little bit later is around AWS Marketplace CPPO. This is a huge topic right now. So again, we support our partners here. We also help them accelerate. So there's a program called the AWS Accelerated Development Program. We've actually got a dedicated team locally here in Australia that would actually work with our partners to get them through this program. If the partner did it themselves, right, this is an actual AWS program that we've taken in-house, we've adapted, but if you to do this yourselves with AWS, on average, it's between 18 to 24 months to complete. With Ingram, it's between a month and 6 months, right? So our team can really work with you, understand your business, and then bring in the vendors like Red Hat to help build a go-to-market strategy. We talked about migrations. So Ingram has a cloud assessment program, right, where we can actually help you and support you understand your customers' environments, right? We have access to our security team. So we can actually come into your partner engagements, support you around how we can make the solution secure. Supported with all of this is a whole golden market strategy, where we can actually look at how we can actually take solutions and help get them in market and help you find new customers. Now, the opportunity with Red Hat, Vincent talks about all the great stuff with that Red Hat offers in market. The opportunity is huge for us to partner, absolutely huge for us. And we'd love to sit with you. And again, there'll be my team, there'll be Vincent and his supporting team that will work with you, help find what success looks like, help build an outcome, and then together we will then help take you to market, help you with roundtable events, help you with marketing assets. We need you to be successful in order for us to be successful, okay? Ingram doesn't sell to end customers, so we need to enable our partners, right, to be able to find new business and grow business. So this is really important to us. So AWS Marketplace, what is it? CPPO, this is a term that has been thrown around for a little while, but in recent, probably this year, it's just gone crazy, right? AWS Marketplace needs to be a new avenue for you to look at. One of the things that, especially if you've got AWS customers who have large AWS spend, right, through EDPs, CPPO is incredibly attractive to them. And today they are making purchases via the AWS Marketplace. And we'll come to a bit more of that in a second, but AWS Marketplace is a method that you need to start looking at. Okay, the opportunity now, over the last 6 months, I've seen lots of different numbers that have been floated around. I've taken a bit of an average and looked at this $45 billion global opportunity with AWS Marketplace. If you look at those statistics there, right, the amount of organizations using AWS Marketplace is huge. This is a massive opportunity for our partners to come in and support these end customers buying direct, okay, that are not looking, they're not engaging with a partner to find the right products. Now, you may also be thinking, well, how do I even get started? That's okay. As part of Ingram's engagement with our partners, we will help you. We will get you fully trained and enabled on AWS Marketplace. We will get you CPPO authorized. We will help you with listing fees. We will help you with the vendor engagements, just like what we do today. So we try and make this as simple as possible and as traditional quoting as possible, what you're used to, right? So you're comfortable with it. My team will help you with listing products, but more importantly, and we will get to this, is we will help you with the maintenance renewals, right? Now, what does this, again, just drilling down into this, when you have an enterprise discount program, now an EDP is where an end customer will go to AWS and they say, hey, I will commit to spending X amount of money with AWS in 3-5 years, whatever the term may be. And that's generally based around the consumption, workload consumption. Now, a core thing here, right, is any purchase on the AWS marketplace helps to retire 25% of that number. Okay. Now, when if at the end of that term, if the end customer doesn't meet that EDP consumption target, right, they actually have to pay cash the difference. So customers are looking at AWS Marketplace to make CPPO transactions because it helps retire that number. One of the other things that we see as well is because customers are going to one dashboard, that 44% of their IT spend is then consolidated on that dashboard, right? So potentially this is areas that you're missing out today. Now, for the partner, what is really interesting, and these are some of the statistics that we got from Forrester, is that the sales cycle increases by 40%. So this is generally more to do with larger deals, right? But we all want to win quickly, and we want to also win with a higher success rate. The AWS Marketplace is doing that. 27% higher win rates when going over the AWS Marketplace, okay? Now, but then partners are gaining access to new customer purchasing engagements that previously they weren't seeing, right? We've all heard about shadow IT and all these different bits and pieces, but potentially there are departments within your customers that are acquiring business that you could resell via the AWS Marketplace, right? This is really important. So we're super keen, and Ingram will be looking at running a number of events and webinars over the next couple of months to really educate partners around this. But just going back to a point that I mentioned earlier, maintenance renewals. So when an end customer goes to the AWS Marketplace and they make a purchase, generally speaking, the vendor and AWS themselves definitely isn't doing this, but no one's recording when the maintenance renewal is up. Well, that's a massive value that Ingram provides. We actually track maintenance renewals. We actually support partners with upsell, cross-sell opportunities. So if an end customer comes to you for an opportunity, like we're doing today, we can support you, helping you find the right product and potentially upsell and cross-sell opportunities to be able to support that sales cycle. We're also able to give you better insights. Again, customers going direct, they don't get that. They're missing out on all the value that the partners that they're working with provide today, right? Ingram can support you, and then obviously with the end customer with AWS billing resale motions. So sometimes you run into some issues with payments or actually purchasing something. Well, when you've got Ingram in the mix, right, we can then help support you and then obviously that AWS customer. Now, from an AWS perspective, Ingram can then support our partners and helping our partners grow and develop their AWS business. So the value-added services that on top of all of these things, now we've touched on some of these today, but we talked about earlier that Ingram is or has the AWS migration competency. So we're the only distie that currently has this here in Australia. This is something that as a partner you can tap into, right? So if you're able to do the migration yourselves, right, Ingram can go to AWS. We put together a scope of works. We then put an estimate around what the migration cost will be. AWS will then pay Ingram that cost. We passed on 100% of those fundings to our partners. Our partners then can complete the migration for their customer. Obviously, the partner can then use that as an incentive to then help close out deals quicker and potentially make the deal more attractive to an end customer, and also potentially make the partner a lot more profitable. Now, one of the other key benefits that Ingram has, and Vincent sort of touched on it earlier around the cloud migration conversation or the cloud extension from on-prem into AWS, we actually have a cloud assessment program that you as a partner can leverage free of charge. We'll go in and we'll work out how we can help you. Now, from a Red Hat perspective, when you look at OpenShift, on-premise OpenShift environments, this map funding, these cloud assessment programs will help support you with AWS ROSA opportunities, right? So if you've got Red Hat OpenShift customers today, and potentially those customers today don't have a ROSA environment, please reach out to us. We'd love to have a conversation. These programs are free, right? Worst case scenario, all you're going to get is a load of insights on how to lift and shift that environment, how to build a migration environment, how to understand what the cost from an AWS will be. So that enables you, it empowers you to then go to your customer and have a conversation with them around how Ingram, Red Hat, AWS partner can support their cloud journey. I would highly recommend that you look into this. This MAP program is amazing. But what about if you don't have the professional services? You don't have the capabilities. You know, even like ROSA is a little bit foreign today. Well, that's okay. Ingram has a center of excellence, right? A professional services arm that can come in and help you with design, help you with migration, help you have the Red Hat conversation, help you have the AWS conversation, right? If you don't have, and that's with the end customer, that's helping you with the design of the SOW, that's helping you with deployment, that's helping you with ongoing support. Okay, now all of these services, all of these value-added offerings that we have, you can white glove, you can resell to your end customer. Remember, Ingram's customer is our partner, not the end customer. It's the partner. We work with you. We're all about enabling you and helping your business grow. Again, I can't stress this enough. Based on the information I've been provided, the opportunity to really take Red Hat OpenShift on-prem into AWS is huge. Love to have that conversation with you. Now, for those environments that you may have, you may be going, well, we may need to do a bit of a proof of concept. We're not sure how it will work. We need to put together a test environment. Well, Ingram's got the ability to support you here. So we've got a data center. It's called a technology experience center, which we've got Engage on the call as well. So Engage is our sort of local rep that sort of helps and assists with that. Now, this is an environment, right, that we can actually build proof of concepts environments, right? Now, from a Red Hat perspective, we've actually been working with partners, helping them build infrastructure as code, Ansible solutions for their customers. We've trialed it. We've found all the issues. We've ironed out all the issues. Our engineers have worked with our partner engineers, right? This is an environment that you can play with. You can develop an outcome. You can develop a go-to-market offering. Again, highly recommend that you get across this. This will be huge for yourselves. We are driving Red Hat growth in market by leveraging this data center. and all the capabilities within it. So please get another area we'd love you to get across. Right, so just to summarize a couple of bits that we've talked about today. So key benefits working with Ingram Micro. So as we mentioned, and obviously, as you can see from this, the Red Hat relationship that we have is really, really tight. Our AWS relationship is really, really tight. Come to us, we will then support you. Doesn't matter if you've not started today with Red Hat, if you're just starting, or if you're an expert, we can help accelerate. Right? We'd love to work with you. We'd love to understand what success looks like. We'd love to look at driving you in market. We'd love to look at finding new opportunities with you and make you different and valuable in market. So please reach out to us. We'd love to work with you. Obviously, we talked about the education and training. Now, we've got the ability, we've got the teams in-house to be able to support you, educate you, right? Don't worry about the complexities of all the different vendors. That's what we will manage for you. Just bring us the opportunity and a potential idea. Where we're seeing partners really succeed in this relationship is where they go, I've got this opportunity. They don't need to tell us the end customer name. They just tell us the opportunity, right? And Ingram will then work with the Red Hat team, work with AWS, right? We will bring it together. We'll tell you the programs that you can leverage, right? We'll go away and potentially find funding for you, marketing activities for you. We'll do all of that. Where you fall short, where you don't have those capabilities, we will find those capabilities across the businesses to be able to support you. Okay. So don't leave anything on the table, right? Please work with us on this. Obviously, we talked around AWS Marketplace, CPPO. This can be very complex. It can be a bit scary to look at. Again, don't worry about it. Come to us. We've got the team that be able to support you, educate you. We'll do those listings for you. We'll manage all of that. We will work with the vendors. We'll work with Red Hat. We'll find a way, right, and build something that's easy for you to be able to advertise to your customers, right? So we make life easy for you in finding new business and working on opportunities. There's all the benefits from an AWS perspective as well. Would love to have a conversation with you. If you're looking at, starting off on an AWS journey, please reach out to us. We'd love to look at supporting you and helping you. If you've got AWS today, working through us is a complete cost neutral engagement. AWS reps get paid exactly the same. You lose nothing by going through Ingram Micro. Okay. If you get funding today, credits today, and a AWS account rep today, all of that stays. At worst, you'll be buying at the same amount that you're paying today. However, the likelihood is we'll be able to give you margins discounts. We'll be able to show you the programs to be more profitable in AWS. And again, coming back to Red Hat, we'll be able to support you with all of those amazing things that Red Hat have to offer that Vincent touched about at the start, right? We've got people who will be able to do training sessions with you, and, do awareness training, okay? Tell us the opportunities, tell us what you're looking to achieve. We'll then go and find ways to make you successful, educate you. And then just to finish up on, you're able to leverage our competencies. So with those migrations, when you're looking to extend OpenShift environments into AWS, when you're looking at transforming, SQL, SAP, all those other things, we can support you with funding. And the funding is very healthy, by the way. Okay, we can support you. Bring the opportunity to us. We'll be able to help you. We've also got the DevOps. So again, we'll be able to support you with activities around there as well. So massive thank you for returning, for your attendance today. Thank you so much for listening. Hopefully you've learned a lot. The ask, please, is to reach out to your Ingram rep, right? I will be sharing the slides, we'll be sharing contact details. Please reach out to us. We'd love to have a conversation with you. We'd love to look at helping your business grow and being more successful with Red Hat and AWS. You've got lots of smart people in this relationship that can really support you and help drive. So what we're going to do now, I'm just going to stop sharing. All right. We're just going to invite to the forum, right? We've got Engage, who works in my team. So Engage is one of our absolute gurus when it comes to cloud computing. So he's one of my AWS SAs, also very strong within Red Hat. We've got Chana as well, who's Ingram's Red Hat SA. Myself will be on the call, and then we'll have Vincent. So I'll just take a look at the questions. So guys, please feel free to put some questions in the Q&A section, right? And we'll run through those questions with you. So we've got one. So what steps does Ingram recommend for more traditional Red Hat partners to take in order to work more closely with AWS? So does anyone want to?
Yeah, let me jump in. Hi everyone, and great presentation, Phil and Vince. So I think the first step is to start the discussion in terms of what the AWS benefits are and how Ingram can help you sign up for the AWS partner if you're not already. And then that's where, because the reality is, if your current customers are running on-prem workloads utilizing Red Hat products, they will still be looking at cloud to move to some of the utilize some of the benefits that AWS offers in terms of flexibility or scalability and elasticity. Now, the way, like Phil mentioned, so our team, we are here to support you. Reach out to us, have a conversation. We can help you sign up or understand your current partner profile or partner tier with AWS, how to uplift. We also run multiple programs from a accelerated development perspective to raise your partner profiles. Now, Vincent touched upon some of the Red Hat products being eligible for the AWS competencies to elevate your partnership tiers, and that's something we can help you with to understand and utilize more. So I think the conversation is your customers are already looking at AWS to utilize Red Hat products on AWS, either through Marketplace or through the AWS console or account. And the best thing is to reach out to us, bring us those opportunities, and we can help you get the maximum benefit.
Yeah, so 100%. So just one of the things I've stated to my closing notes, to Engage's point, reach out to us. So it doesn't matter who within Ingram, reach out to us and say, hey, look, I'd love to have an AWS Red Hat conversation, an AWS conversation, a Red Hat conversation. Your contact will go and find the right people within Ingram, right? We will then bring in the smart people, like the people that are on this call, bring in the vendors like Vincent, and we'll sit down with you and help you get started. The key thing is about understanding what success looks like for you, right? And that's what we do. We're a strategic conversation, right? We look at how we can grow your business and make you more profitable. So wonderful. What AWS programs, promotions are starting to deliver results for Ingram's AWS partners? So I can jump into that one. So one of the things that I would highly recommend is MAP, right? So the AWS Migration Assessment Program. This is huge. So this, like I touched on in the presentation, so this program, AWS will support with migration costs. Now, there are gates that have to be met and we'll call out, but AWS will contribute, will pay for migrations. They'll pay for environment app modernization, workload modernization. Okay. Don't worry about how complex the programs and whatnot are. Again, reach out to us. Engage and the team can run you through what the programs are, how they work, and then when you find an opportunity, we'll then help you build an SOW. We'll do the registration within AWS, and we'll look at getting the funding. Now, again, just to be very clear on this, when Ingram gets the funding from AWS, all funding we pass on to our partners. So when you're looking at, those extending the OpenShift environments and whatnot, those conversations, we can find the funding to help support that project and help you win. Does anyone else have anything else to add to that, or?
Yeah, I just want to clarify. So this conversation, the complementary assessment or the cloud readiness assessment, everything is free. So you're not paying, and it's obligation free as well. So it's a good conversation starter, great way to win the customer opportunity. And then, yeah, we do get access to the funding that we can, pass on to you. Yeah.
Okay, so we've got a question here. How is Red Hat compatibility with Linux, OS, and cPanel for migration?
Maybe I can go in for the first part of the question. So Analytics is obviously a sort of semi-compatible binary of RHEL. So we actually have a new offer in AWS Marketplace called RHEL for third-party Linux migration. So if you have distributions like CentOS, Alma, or Oracle, you can use a utility inside of AWS called that we've called Convert to RHEL, and that'll basically give you the support and patches and security updates that you get from RHEL for those binaries that are perhaps not traditionally Red Hat based. So that's a pretty competitive offer. We can work through the CPPO program, which Phil mentioned, and then from an actual operating platform point of view, maybe I'll let one of the technical teams speak, but I think cPanel's no issue for a Red Hat point of view.
Yeah, great. So Vincent, I've got a question for you. That what is the market opportunity for Red Hat OpenShift and Ansible in Australia? Straight to the money.
Phil, I mean, I think we're really just touching the sides of what's possible, because if you look at the market statistics we've gotten from Amazon, they're saying 90% of workloads are yet to be migrated to public cloud, right? So if you consider the opportunity just in pure migrations alone, it's 10 times the size of what customers have currently already done. And even on that basis, the actual volume of applications inside of AWS and on-prem that have been modernized and are operating in a modern architecture is really small. So, we can speak to that. We're still seeing, from our current go-to-market alone, three-digit, hundreds of percent worth of growth for our cloud services in AWS, over 60% growth per annum on OpenShift. And that's something that, I think will only accelerate with our partners engaging with us on that journey, because, from Red Hat's point of view, we're the experts on the platform. What we don't always have is the relationships with your customers and the direction around migrations and what's important to them from an application stack point of view. So any insight that you can provide, we want to work collaboratively with yourselves and Ingram to help drive customers on that modernization journey.
Yeah, thanks, Vincent. So, and look, again, I think I stressed it in my presentation deck, is the opportunity is massive, right? I honestly believe to be able to simplify environments, to be able to manage environments better, and especially for the bigger partners, the bigger customers out there, the organizations are looking for ease, right? They're looking for simplicity. They're looking at how can I better set up my environments. We have the answer here, right? So I would strongly recommend, if you're not fully across it or you don't quite understand what the values and stuff is, please reach out to us. We're here to help you. Really good question. My customers have spent a fair amount of money on Red Hat on-premise licenses. Can I move those to the cloud?
Yeah, I think I'll take on. Definitely, yes. So whatever the subscriptions you hold on-prem, they can be taken onto AWS. There's no issues there.
Okay.
And I think, well, just to add to Channa's answer, we have compatibility for pretty much every mainline Red Hat product in AWS. So don't be afraid. If you've got customers that are running, a specific Red Hat product, by and large, it's AWS supported. And now, as I mentioned, if customers are going through AWS, they now have the opportunity to transition those subscriptions over to Marketplace for that commercial benefit that Phil discussed with the EDP retirement and the CPPO as well.
Yeah. I got a very hot topic question here. Around cloud security. How does the cloud security, how is cloud security implemented with Red Hat and AWS? Channa, do you want to take that one?
Let me take that one. So this is a very broad answer here. It's there's so many offerings are available through AWS. So to start with, all the security profiles, AWS and Red Hat, they ensure that these profiles work as they should on AWS infrastructure. That's one thing. Also includes security features, compliance and certification accreditations for those profiles. Security advisories to work with customers to resolve security issues. So that's and one thing I mostly important to mention, the Red Hat Insight, which comes as free with every real subscription. So what Insights provide is to detect and remediate vulnerabilities within the environment, Red Hat solution environments. And continuously analyze those performance and platform environments to optimize in the hybrid cloud environments. And then one important thing, continuously scan the CVEs, the common vulnerabilities and exposures, and provide guidance to fix those vulnerabilities and security risks. And then includes the compliance certificate profiles to run periodically to maintain your compliance requirement. Either it is PCI DSS or enhanced operating system protection profile to be in line with the Australian Cybersecurity Centre ACSC standard or CIS standard. So there's so many compliance profiles are there already built into you to run against and generate those reports. So it's and encryption. So either with the data at rest or data on the wire can be encrypted. That numerous security features are there to protect your environment. So it is a continuous security. Is a continuous process of applying those mitigating those risks. So there are so many support available within the environment between AWS and Red Hat to mitigate those risks.
And I would just say quickly as well, many of the common platforms that you're probably already using for endpoint protection and cloud security work with Red Hat. So your Palo Alto, your Windows Defender, CrowdStrike, any of those common providers also work for RHEL and the Red Hat stack. So if you've already got other tools in your environment, they're compatible as well.
Yeah, and one of the things as well, so if obviously security is a massive concern, but Ingram Micro actually has a security team, right? And again, it's about bringing in all the right people. So if we've got the environment that needs that level of attention and love, we can actually bring in our security team. We can bring in the Red Hat team. We've got a number of SAs, as per this call, that can jump on and help you and make sure that your customer is confident with the environment within AWS. All right, I got one last. Sorry, go on, Engage.
Just wanted to add. So, like Phil mentioned briefly, all your AWS customers running Red Hat workloads and on AWS, through us, you do get access to a Cloud Checker tool, which is completely free. And that tool itself has, it checks all the data from a AWS best practices and well-architected framework perspective, and gives you security recommendations and compliance recommendations as well. So along with the Red Hat insights, you can also utilize the Cloud Checker report to offer those value add security services to the customers.
Well, thanks, Angesh. Just mindful of time, we've got one last question I can see here, which is, we don't currently transact with AWS. How easy is it to get started? What do we need to do? And can you touch more on the migration assessment? So to get started, super easy. Just like with everything else that we've talked about, just reach out to us, have a conversation to either myself or my team. We will help you get started within the AWS. To get started is really easy, super easy. To get you enabled, easy. We have programs like we touched on earlier that will get you operationally, technically, and also from a sales perspective ready. Okay. From a cloud migration assessment, we have the OLAs, the operational license assessments, which Ingram can then do on your behalf, which will go in, we'll assess the environment, we'll take a look at it, and we'll then help you build out a plan to move to cloud. We've also can help you with the MAP funding like we touched on earlier, but again, we handle all of that for you. Okay, so we have other sessions that actually go into these programs in a bit more depth, but as I've stated many of time in the last hour, is touch base with us. Let us understand what success looks like for you, what programs, what applications, which vendors, all of these things. And then between, Vincent, myself, my team, Jana, and Ingram's Red Hat team, we're here to support you. We'd love to engage with you. We'd love to help you find new business within existing customers, and then also help you find new customers as well. Now, if any additional questions come in, we will see them, and what we'll do is we'll just look at responding to all the individuals that have registered for the event. Again, first and foremost, for the attendees, thank you so much for making the time, putting an hour out of your day. I appreciate it's end of year, so everyone's trying to close numbers out for end of year. So thank you so much. Vincent, always a pleasure. Love your insights, love your presentations as always. Thank you so much for joining us today. Engage Chana, thank you for supporting me as well, and Vincent. And have a wonderful day, wonderful week, everyone. Take care.
Thank you all.
Thank you all.
Thanks.
Yeah.